Hello everybody, we will be starting in one moment. Technical difficulty. We will be unmuted in just a moment. We are waiting on one other person. We're just waiting on one other person. We will start in a moment. But thank you everybody for joining. Let's see, we got Jess, we got Tara, Tara, Stacy, Chelsea, Barry, Holly, and good news, my channel's back to normal from before it was messed with. So that's cool. Wi-Fi! The Wi-Fi! We will be starting in one moment. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and start here in a second. I guess I should get in the middle so I can read comments.
Down, Lizzie. Down.
What's up, Rachel? What's up, Alyssa? I gotta read comments on here because I can't see over there, so if I'm leaning over like a weirdo, that's why.
Do you want to move it?
Are we okay where we're at, guys? Can you see us okay?
And hear us okay?
Yeah. Hello. I'm so pale. I look like a ghost. What the hell? I'm gonna be squinting throughout this whole thing. Alright, so here he comes. We are live.
Oh, there's two screens.
Yeah, this is so we can read comments. But that's what we're recording off of.
I got you a water. A hint. Got you a hint.
Barry says it keeps freezing. Yeah, our Wi-Fi's really not good, so I can't fix that, unfortunately.
I'll turn my phone off so it's not using Wi-Fi.
You know what? I'm just gonna bring this over here so I can read it. There
That
we
works. Do you want me to
I'm
lose
glowing.
the chair?
Yeah, that's fine. Lose the chair.
Cool.
Okay, should I bring this down at all? I don't know. I'm not a professional. There we go. Okay.
Lucy, you're in his spot.
Lucy's gonna be my stand-in.
Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, we are so pixelated. That's really good because my skin is breaking out. We got Eden. We got Tank. Chelsea. LOL, is that your brother? Yeah.
No, I don't exist, remember?
Okay, so do you want to introduce you guys?
Hi.
Your
I'm
names,
Danielle.
who you are.
I'm her sister-in-law.
Yes. He's camera shy.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and I am her brother. We grew up together.
Mostly.
Most.
Long
Mostly.
story. That's for a podcast.
We were in the same house.
Barry said cat. Pregnant cat. Very
Yeah.
pregnant cat.
Cats, plural.
PlayStation for the win.
He heard me.
Okay, so, for those of you who don't know, we had, which I'm sure everybody knows at this point, but we went ahead and had can't really say we had court.
We were in a
Yeah,
courthouse.
court.
We were in a courthouse.
We were in a room.
Yeah, we were in a room and never saw Russ or his attorney, or a judge, or literally anybody but the witness advocate and, the DA. Carrie, my Aunt Carrie. Aunt Carrie. She says, hi, Shaylin, Tyler, and Danielle.
Hey, Aunt Carrie.
Holly says, hi, Danielle and Tyler. Tink says, hello. My trouble child.
It's what it was.
Who was throwing dishes?
Okay. So these two were at the court case with me. Thank God. Thank God. Can you imagine if I would have been the only one there?
I wasn't letting you go alone.
If I would have been the only one there, I would have been bullied out of this so quicker.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had the answers at all as to what was going on. Tim says the judicial system is BS. Facts. Hey, Jess.
You're right.
So the reason I'm doing this is because Russ's attorney is going on sort of a media tour, which is obviously, I'm not saying a literal tour for anyone who's going to run with that. He's talking to media, and he's saying that the DA decided that there was nothing to prosecute, and that, and his attorney went on to say that we live in a culture where people use victim status for attention, so forth. Basically just victim shaming the shit out of, I feel like not just me, but like other people
Yeah.
who would come forward about this kind of thing.
Talking about that post?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Not just the post. Oh yeah. Want to talk about the post?
Oh,
Should we
which
start
post?
there?
What? Yeah, wait, hold on. Which post are we talking about?
Are you talking about the candlelight?
candlelight vigil?
Oh, that was funny too. I was actually initially talking about the post that Russ's lawyer made, talking about how he tried to put words in the DA's mouth.
Oh yeah.
Like.
So let's just start from the beginning, because that occurs after. So in the first hour, I'd say, we were all in a room with the DA. It was me, the witness advocate, the DA, and Tyler and Danielle. And what do you guys think about the first hour? Because my impression was that they were confident that he was going to get charges, like it was gonna go to another court.
Yeah, like we were going over everything that he could use against him and everything, and then
The whole reason we drove all the way there was because they were dead set on the fact that we were going to have a trial and that you had to testify. You were told that you had no legal option but to show up to testify. We show up and you never even get an opportunity to testify. We're sat in a room with the DA and the advocate. The advocate says maybe 30 words during this entire couple of hours. And it wasn't really anything. It was basically stuff after the fact where she was like, oh, it's okay, honey. I feel bad for you. That's basically, that wasn't her words, but that, that pretty much sums up what the witness advocate. Yeah. They seemed like they were about to go full force at him.
Yeah.
And the DA gets a text, walks out of the room, and comes back.
Wait. So let's just start with the first hour. Let's just start with the first hour. So the first hour, he seemed very confident. It seemed like he wanted to proceed. So I made the stupid mistake. I don't even want to say stupid. I feel like it was stupid, but I know other people have done this too, in my situation. I still loved Russ. I was having that limerence and missing him, and I couldn't comprehend that he would do anything to hurt me. And so I was making it okay in my head, and I'm not the one who called the police, as everyone knows. I didn't have the chance to call the police, first of all. They showed up literally about 2 minutes after what happened. But I did not call the police. We were separated, and they told me that they needed to know what was actually going on because they had been called several times, and I told them what was going on, but I was like, I'm trying to help him. I don't want him in trouble. I don't want him arrested. He needs mental help, and I'm trying to make sure that happens. So they allowed for that. And so when he got arrested, I was blaming myself. I was freaking out. Like, all I did was tell the police exactly, word for word, what happened. And the fact was, I said no, and he continued. So that interaction, based on that, and based on the evidence they gathered, they made the arrest. Even against my wishes at that point. I told them I did not want him arrested. I even said to the cop, like, if I say anything, is he gonna get arrested? And she said, no, this is just an investigation. And then I wrote my statement and he got arrested. I started bawling my eyes out, freaking out, because I didn't want him to be arrested.
Which I want to point out, I've been involved with several situations with a couple of friends of mine. I've seen it through friends of friends. You see it on Law and Order, SVU, and everything. It's very, very common. I wouldn't go as far as calling it a full-on Stockholm's because I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know how to say it, but it's extremely common for a victim to defend their abuser. It is pretty much the first stage, is denial of the situation.
That's where I'm so upset with the system and the victim advocate and stuff, because that should have been explained from day one.
That should have
Not just random people telling her stuff.
I never got
like
contacted by the witness advocate until like 2 weeks before I found out I was a witness, when I was told.
And she knew how to get a hold of her because she had talked to me right before Shaylin got out of the hospital and right after. And I gave her information to get a hold of her.
Allegedly, they've been trying to get a hold of us, you, that entire time and couldn't, but that's not possible. There are only 2 numbers to call.
Yep. So, during the time, like, after his arrest, I went into the hospital, not a medical hospital. I went into a psychiatric clinic because I was not doing well. And I couldn't handle what was going on, and I felt extreme guilt, like something bad was about to happen to him, and I felt like it was my fault. So when I got out of the hospital, nobody reached out to me, nobody advised me, and I was just in that state of, the first thing I saw is, Russ is planning to sue you for defamation. That was the first thing I saw. And that people were sending him stuff to use against me, and I was just like, I didn't say any of this.
She was so oblivious. Like, she was literally dumbfounded because I just showed up in Tennessee. I was like, yeah, I gotta go check on her, make sure she's okay. I'm gonna go get her, at least for a while. And I finally got to talk to her after a couple of days at her stay at the Grippy house. And she was like, what? When I told her what I had seen in the news and all this, and what I had heard from the sheriff's department and was it the victim's advocate or the people at the hospital me and you talked to? Both, actually.
Yeah, and then I saw a newspaper, which shouldn't have been in the hospital.
No.
So I was somebody came up to me and was like, your boyfriend's in the newspaper. Not what you want to hear. So it was a complete shock to me. I was like, where is attempted murder coming from? He didn't try to kill me.
She's like, nah.
Where did, like, as far as I knew, because he hadn't had the second arrest, he was just charged with domestic violence, which I'd say I would agree with. He hit me with a flashlight and dragged me out of a car. So, which we'll love to tell you what the DA has to say about that.
Oh yeah, can't wait to get to that.
So, in short, I didn't agree with what I thought the charges meant. But I also wasn't informed about what the charges actually meant. I thought attempted murder in the second degree meant you had the intention of killing someone, and I was like, I don't think he was intending to kill me. But that's not what it means, apparently.
That's not what the DA thought either.
No.
We'll get to that too.
Yeah, his thoughts on that. So I was very much in I gotta get Russ out of this mode. So I was reaching out to him. I was, and he was seeing my messages, and I was telling him how much I loved him and how much I missed him, and oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I never said you tried to kill me. And so that was my frame of mind for several weeks. So I made one video for him, giving the same account I gave to the police. Like, I remained honest about, I don't think he was trying to hurt me. I remained honest about, I said no, and it continued, and then I stopped saying no, because it continued regardless. Which isn't the first time that had happened with him. So, that video, I used my own words, and I talked about what happened. And then he started getting a hold of me, breaking the no contact, through his friend, who I'm not going to name. Everybody's named her. I was trying to keep her name out of it because I don't want her to get hate.
So he posted that love song first, didn't he?
Yeah, he posted
the day you got out.
It wasn't the day of, but it was very soon after.
Yeah, he posted a video where he used my favorite song for him to sing at karaoke, clips that I took of him at karaoke, and put in all this broken hearts and teddy bears, which is what I called him, was my teddy bear, and talked about one wrong word, one misguided word can destroy a man's life. So I was feeling a lot of pressure. I was getting thousands of messages telling me that I had done something wrong when I wasn't even the one that was pressing charges. But I was told by a cop that came and got me when I went to a mental institution, the day I got out, on the phone, I told that cop I didn't agree with the charges. I thought they were incorrect. I told him my point of view on it and told him that I don't think Russ was trying to do that. And he told me, it doesn't really matter. I think you're trying to protect him. Did you say no? And I said, yes, I did say no. And he said, then there you go. That's the definition of rape.
He literally wouldn't let her get a word in edgewise. She was trying to defend him, and he was just like, honey, like, I know what you're doing, because he also said this. He was like, honey, I know what you're doing because, like, every victim does this, but, yeah, like, no, this happened, and you're going to realize it eventually. And, yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't letting her defend him.
Yeah. So, when I sent that video to Russ, he started getting in touch with our mutual friend and was telling her how he needed me to tweak the video and, like, send another one saying this. Send another one saying that.
Now, wouldn't that almost sound like...
Look at you guys, and there's just me luminescent.
I was literally thinking...
We're back! I was complaining about my looks all the time.
So yeah, the witness tampering, they were manipulating you, guilt tripping you into all of this stuff, which I don't know how that's not witness tampering.
Yeah, and I was being told by this mutual friend that Russ was going to be molested in prison and die in prison, and that it would be my fault because I caused all of this. That's what I was being told. Sorry, we're trying to get comments back up. So,
Which, even if he really did do terrible things, if you had any feelings for him at all, in your heart, in your head, whatever,
I excused it.
then of course you're not going to want him to get the worst possible things, like
No.
those things in prison that they were saying were going to happen. And those are the things that people talk about happening to guys who do certain things in jail. They were bringing up a valid thing almost.
Yeah, and, you know, he always told me that if he went to jail for anything, he would shoot himself before he went to jail. So I had that on, you know, that's something this person was reminding me of too. And I have, you know, all the text evidence of this person being like, I'm CSIing this. We need to figure out how to get him out of this. You need to word it this way. Like, wanting me to twist, like, our consensual kinky interactions to make it seem like this was just one of those. So then I made another video where I sort of said what he wanted me to, but I didn't lie like he wanted me to. He wanted me to straight up lie, and I could not. But interactions between me and him, there was a lot of communication between me and him. I would talk to him.
Came out the couch cushion.
I would talk to him. He would talk to me through his friend, who was next to him. And that was happening back and forth.
Tim, we'll get to that in a second.
Yes, we will get to the comments before we get to the next segment. So we were in communication, and there was at this point where I was like, hey, I'm actually not okay with what happened. Like, I started, you know, I lost a lot of people in my life, and it caused me to have a time of introspection. And when I started realizing I wasn't okay with what happened, keep in mind, nobody had contacted me letting me know I was going to be a witness or anything. I was being told I probably wouldn't be a witness. Oh no, they don't bring the victim for a witness for this kind of case. That's what I was being told.
Yeah, I was researching it earlier, and they normally don't.
They don't.
Especially when the state took it over.
Yeah.
You're not the one who took this to the
I don't know
police.
why they
And especially because I said at the beginning for weeks that I didn't agree with the charges. So why... They waited until the moment that I started being like, hey, I'm not okay with this, to call me as a witness. Like, I tell you, the next day. And it was a complete, like, where is this coming from? So let's read a few comments. Hang on. Let's go up.
Dear Lord.
If you choose to have this court experience investigated, consider taking self-advocacy approach. Please do not wait for any agency to reach out to you.
That's kind of where we're at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep saying no when you're being choked.
Well, also when they're saying that, because one of the things that they said was because she did not say no throughout the entire duration of the act. This was what the DA said.
Wait. We'll get to that whole part.
Okay. I was going to say, that's not an allegation. That's fact of what he
We're
said.
going to get into
No,
all
she's
that.
she's
I'm trying to
wanting
do a timeline.
explain- yeah. She's keeping a timeline.
And to put this clear, nothing that's going to come out of any mouths here is an allegation unless we say alleged.
Yeah.
Because if we're quoting something,
If
it's
we
the
say this
words
is our
we
opinion,
heard.
If we say this is our opinion, then we're giving an opinion.
It's the words we heard and our perception of such.
Yes. Can't imagine it's easy to tell the story. No, it's really not. Thank you. I can barely hear you now. Can people hear us now? Testing. You're brave for coming out. Thank you, Chelsea. Keeps freezing. Yeah. It's not gonna stop freezing, unfortunately.
It's witness tampering, blah, blah, blah.
Understanding
Yeah,
you're reclaiming your voice as a survivor. We're doing this for a reason. We're doing it on social media for a reason because I'm being smeared on media. We've also gone to the media about what's happened.
Yep.
Because this is happening publicly, I'm speaking out about it publicly. That would be witness tampering, and if Russ had intention of giving that video as evidence,
This is not mine.
That's falsified evidence, right?
and he did. He did give that. He had this in his head before he got arrested, how he can get away with it if he ever went too far. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
he did, because he wanted me to make a video saying that if I ever died from him choking me, that it was consensual.
Cat.
Which will tell you what we were told about that, too.
Yeah.
Okay, how much for the couch? $3,000.
It's not comfortable, just so you know.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah, but it's totally tweed.
Yeah, it's chill.
So I can't press charges on the charges that are currently there because it's not dismissed. It's I can't
It's a type
pronounce
of
it.
dismissal.
Yeah, which they can reopen.
cross.
Yeah, it means wishes not to proceed, basically. They can revisit it up to 8 years from now, but that prevents me from going forward with it.
Which, side note, I think that's purposeful, but we'll get to that later, too.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir, can you put shoe on head and start the couch auction, please?
I'll legit sell this couch if people want to buy it.
I
What did
love
they
these
say?
people.
It's wood. The cushions can unzip and be washed.
Yeah, people have dealt with similar treatment. Does the couch come with the cat? No, it does not.
Which cat?
I'll give away one of your cats.
So will I. Well, no, I'll give away one of yours, too, actually.
Yeah, I'll join you. I don't really like her that much anyway.
This one's not going
That one's the baby.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're able to pursue civil.
Yes, civilly, yes.
But as far as that case belongs to the state technically because she didn't file the report herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first hour seems like we're good to go. He's very confident. He leaves the room. I don't know if
I'll be right back.
Oh!
That's what he did.
We should mention before he left the room, my brother happened to remember something he saw in the video I made with Danny.
Oh yeah, because I was trying to make sure he had no excuses because
So tell him about that.
the clip where you could clearly hear Russ dragging you around and smack. Oh my gosh, I hate even saying this stuff. The part where you could hear Russ smacking you around and dragging you around because you got mad about the things he was saying about some Diddy level things.
Which, disclaimer, yes, he has PTSD. Anyway.
He listens to that clip and he said we might be able to do something with that.
He said, I want my next relationship to be as strong as that couch.
Because
What does that mean?
up at this moment, he seemed like it was going to be
In the
a
bag.
vicious case, but that he was going to pursue it and that he had it handled. And then I was like, well, if you need more stuff, there's this whole YouTube video and this one clip specifically. The
You were
one
talking
I
about
just
proving
mentioned.
pattern.
I was like, yeah, I can prove pattern. He said he didn't have a way to prove a pattern. That would be the hard part. And I'm like, well, I mean, everyone who's ever met the guy, kind of.
But he also told us that Russ and his lawyer had filed that form
It's like a
Then
form
allow-
402 or something.
412.
412.
Yeah.
where he could use past events
But
Past consensual sexual events.
But she
against her, but
she couldn't even use recordings of violent things that
To show
happened
a
to her.
pattern.
But Russ could use recordings of when they've had past consensual engagement together.
Which,
So,
in
like,
my opinion,
recordings of me moaning into the camera they could use.
But they can't use videos
It's tight.
or recordings of her getting effed up by a dude.
in my opinion, that makes zero sense. If someone else, if the past is brought in, the past should just be brought in.
Yeah.
Like,
And the recording, like he said, it showed proof. I kept saying, no, stop, it hurts. And he kept going.
yeah, proof that he doesn't listen to the word no.
Correct.
Oh my gosh, how many videos are out there of Russ not saying no to anyone about anything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people say no, and he ignores the safe words. He continues what he wants to do.
It's a pretty strong pattern for him.
Can't prove a pattern. There's tons of videos about the pattern. Yep.
That's what I
said. Yeah, it's BS. So.
Where's the plug? I was going to plug you in.
Plug it in.
Oh, there it
I
is.
shouldn't say that. That's trademarked. Plug it in, plug it in.
Don't get me demonetized. I'm just kidding. I'm not getting paid for this. I don't think.
Well, you're not now. Sorry.
I am trying so hard. I cannot.
This tech is getting fired. Thank you.
You're fired.
Yeah.
And it's on the other side.
Okay.
Didn't mean to, like...
Okay, so he leaves the room after hearing this video. He seemed very interested to hear the audio. Not video, audio. He seemed very interested in hearing it, and then immediately, before he can say anything about it, he gets called to the other room to talk to, was it Russ's attorney or was it the judge?
I think it was the attorney first.
I think it was the attorney the first time because somebody opened the door, knocked on the door,
And said his
and
attorney.
DA said, come in, and they were like, his attorney wants to speak with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were in there for maybe an hour, I think.
It was a little over an hour.
Oh, yeah, it was a minute. Yeah.
And he came back, and he, I'm missing important parts.
It's hard to keep track of.
there was
we
a
were there
lot.
for hours, and it was mind-numbing, really, because it was so insulting, really.
So, a few key points before he left the room. Things that were said. He laid out 3 charges on the table. He clarified when choking happened because they kind of got some of the timing wrong. The first incident where I was sitting on, we had an argument. I was sitting on Russ. The argument was resolved, and he choked me without saying he was gonna do it. It wasn't consensual per se because I didn't. Nothing sexual was going on. We didn't have sex before. We didn't have sex after. Like, it was something that wasn't normal. Like, normally if we did that kind of stuff, it was a part of doing something.
So it's almost like the argument verbally ended, but it almost seems like in his head there was still agitation there then.
Yeah, it was odd because, I don't know, that just had not happened before where it wasn't a part of something. And I didn't know I passed out. I just remember I was talking to him, he grabbed my throat, and I woke up. And I thought I had fallen asleep. And I said, did I fall asleep? And he told me, no, you passed out and you had a seizure. And I said, no, I didn't. I didn't believe him. I thought he was messing with me. And then I get this weird taste in my mouth after this happens. It's a really weird irony taste. And I was like, wait, it did happen. So I went live later that night and got him to sort of admit that it happened. Ghost.
You mean Weebles?
He threw a thermos.
The cat. Didn't he get a text from the judge at some point? Yes, we're getting to that.
That's like an hour later. That's like an hour and a half later.
Yeah. So I explained that interaction to him, and I said, I don't know why that's down for attempted murder, because I don't feel like he was trying to kill me. I don't know. I was kind of indifferent about that. I don't know why that got pressed. Then
Question,
it got...
do you feel like you know why it was pressed now? Do you have different thoughts on it now, or do they remain the same?
I'm just indifferent, because I'm like, it was unusual.
Still don't know how to feel about something like that.
Yeah, like, it was unusual, but I feel like if, I don't know, he would have done more to hurt me if he was trying to hurt me. In that scenario.
It was just him playing mind games. It was a control thing. That's what it was.
Yeah, maybe, but we also did a lot of weird shit, so I don't know. I don't know what was going on in his head at that point, but I never thought he should get attempted murder for that. They're the ones who pressed that. And then he had the middle paper. And then is where...
You've been replaced.
Don't show yourself on camera. What? Dog fight. Sharon Nicole Williams was alive. Two dogs killed each other.
Oh, God. Potato bear. Okay.
So anyway, he points out the second paper. This was for being hit with a flashlight and dragged out of the car. That night, I think we were arguing about road trip and probably politics. Just his incessant need to defend people that aren't good people and compare himself to them. I was in the car because he told me that if I locked the door again, he would break it down.
This part is so rich. Watch out, dog.
He told me he would break down the door if I locked it again. So I went to the car. I went live that night. I think I bawled my eyes out on the live stream. Thinking about leaving. And that makes so much sense. He was probably sent clips of me talking about leaving. I just now realized that. Daniel probably sent him clips of me talking about leaving from my live stream. I was considering leaving. I was freaking out. I was like, I don't know what to do when you want to help somebody and they don't get better and you can't seem to help them. And I was constantly getting screamed at every day. It was always something, and it was bad. I was in the car for hours, and he came out and hit me with the flashlight. Like, he opened the door. I was like laying down in the front seats, and he opened the door and hit me with a flashlight on like my leg and my butt. And he told me, get out of the car. And I said, no. And he said, get out of the car or I'm going to drag you out of the car. And I said, no, you're not. And he came to the other side of the car, grabbed me, and dragged me out of the car. So yeah, I think that's assault.
And
Thoughts?
My thoughts are on the DA's response to this. He said something to the effect of, well, his argument is going to be that you bruise easily, and he just didn't want you to be in the car.
We're not going to his excuses yet. His excuses are wild. This is still to the point where he's, like, convincing me we have a case.
Oh, yeah.
So, he was gung-ho about, yeah, that's domestic violence. And then he gets to the last charge, and it was the night he got arrested. And, you know, he brought to me, like, these are the things you've sent, Russ. This is what they're going to use against you, is that you sent these. However, he knew that I was coached to send those things. And he seemed like that made it where it was not going to be... Am I wrong? Like...
No, it seemed like it was going to be something he had to fight against, but that he was going to fight against it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that he was confident that it wasn't really going to be like the determining factor. Like I said, I was told that Russ was depressed, and that the only thing that would make him feel better in his last days was for me to send him pictures. And at one point I said, I'm going to stop, and he said through his friend, no, don't stop. So I kept sending them. And then I explained everything that happened the night that he got arrested, and he seemed pretty confident that we had a case.
Was it during this first part when he was talking about the, like, previous conversations that he's had with Russ?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
He was talking about how dangerous Russ was, and that Russ knows how to get out of things, and that he's sat down and talked to Russ about
multiple times
how he's going to get himself in trouble. And this is the point where he told me, Russ, based on everything presented and the video Russ wanted me to make about consenting to the choking in case I died, him telling me that he had an intrusive thought about killing me and burying me in the yard, based on the choking that was happening.
I remember his body language and everything.
He told me that he believed Russ was planning to kill me.
Yes.
Maybe not during that interaction, but that he was planning to kill me at some point.
He was even going into the fact of, like, even their, kinky stuff, once it starts getting to, like, strangulation, that there's a more likely chance.
He said it was like 70% more likely that the partner was going to die when strangulation was brought into the relationship.
Yeah, something like 70, 74.
And I also, if I'm not mistaken, it was during this point where he mentioned wanting to stop Russ because he said it like it's matter-of-factly, like he's going to end up killing somebody.
Yeah.
And they need to stop him. That's the DA saying those things.
Are we actually frozen, or can you guys see us and hear us? Because we're frozen on this end, but it might just be our internet.
Side note, yes, Zen is still pregnant.
She hasn't popped.
Yeah, I thought she was going to pop while we were gone.
And in case that gets clipped, Zen is the cat.
The one that sat on me for the first 20 minutes of this. How long have we been going?
Okay, I think we're fine. Okay. Yeah, we're fine. Okay. So he leaves the room. He comes back. How do you feel like his demeanor changed?
Totally different. He went from being almost the...
We're gonna get him.
He went from being the dad cop who was ready to... He seemed like the sheriff in a Western movie at first. Like, he's ready. He's going to take this man on and we're going to get you taken care of. Came back and it was, well, I don't know if we have a case. And it's like, what? Hold on. What changed while you were gone?
Was he almost seemed nervous. I don't know if he was nervous to, like, tell you that everything was changing.
Keep in mind, I had already tried to tell these people since the beginning that I had sent Russ videos. And that I had been coached to send Russ videos.
I heard her tell them before we left while she was on the phone with them.
They said it didn't matter because it was a normal thing.
It's a normal trauma response.
This is where the excuses start on the DA's end, and this gets rich, man.
This gets bad. So I want to give a trigger warning. The stuff that I was told, that we were told, is very upsetting.
It feels like straight up shaming. Like it really may hurt some people to hear some of this shit.
It hurt her to hear it.
Yeah, I was furious and crying.
Yes. Did you get to see? No.
No.
We never saw Russ's attorney. We never saw Russ. We never saw a courtroom. We never saw the judge.
Only thing we got is the DA's words. That's it.
Yeah. So, we'll start with this one, because these are probably going to be out of order, but this was during the same time period. There was a point that he left again to talk to the judge, but it was basically the same thing. So, of course, the first thing that they're saying is, well, you sent those videos to Russ. And that's what they're going to use, because in the videos I was saying, like, I did say no, but I'm sure I could have stopped the interaction if I used different words. Like, no, I really don't want to do this, which is fucking freaky because that's his...
Now, before he left, that was valid. And that seemed like something, well, regardless, that's that.
So that's the first thing he brought up is, well, I just watched the video you sent to Russ, and I don't think we have a case. And I was very confused because I had already told them about this video. We had proof that the videos were coached, and I was told to say these things by Russ and his friend. That doesn't matter anymore, apparently. So anybody who wants to blame anybody for why Russ didn't get charged, blame me, don't blame my friends, because they had...
Blame the DA, because the DA didn't care about what she did in the beginning and still wanted to press charges.
I want to be very clear, because there are conspiracy theorists that don't know what they're talking about, spreading false information. We were all there. Did anyone ever say that it was because of my video with Danny or Road Trip that things got dismissed?
No.
It was the video you were coached to send by Russ that the DA, in his own words, says he knows you were manipulated into sending it. And I asked him, if you know she was manipulated, how's this work? And he had no response for that. Just like when we asked him what the legal definition of consent was, and he froze for like 30 seconds and said, let me get my phone, and then still didn't even bother to Google that. You're the DA and you can't define that?
Okay. Yep. So, I said, does it not matter that Russ messaged me? He broke the no contact order. His reply to that is, oh, well, they're going to say that was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident that he sent a message and then unsent it. Okay.
Which happened twice, I'm fairly certain. One from one account and one from a different account.
Oh, he just hit you in the car because he didn't want you in the car.
He made that video. He was talking to you through other people. But it was an accident that he did it on his own account.
Yeah. So that's the first
it.
one.
It was an accident that had happened on his own account. That's just about it.
Yeah. So instead of telling us how we could combat it, he was telling us what was going to be said.
Yeah.
To
Every time he said something that Russ's lawyer supposedly could use, I'm like, okay, but what would you say back?
He
didn't have an answer. He didn't have an answer of how he would go against it.
So the next thing
Sweet.
is he didn't want me in the van.
Oh yeah.
So his reply to, okay, what about the domestic assault? Because that was the one thing that I was gung-ho, like, yeah, he should probably be charged for that, because that was what happened. And Russ himself can't deny that happened. That's one thing about Russ. And I know someone's going to send him this, so you know this is the truth. You want to believe yourself to be a good person. Therefore, you can't lie and say things were different than they were, because you know that's admitting to yourself what happened was wrong. That's why I've told you from the beginning, stick to the truth. You know I said no. You're not going to deny it. I challenge you to deny that I said no. You're not going
Multiple times.
You're not going to, because you know, and lying about it, you're admitting to yourself you did something wrong and you're a bad person. So, did I say no? Did you hit me with a flashlight and drag me out of the car? Which, by the way, when I said to you that bothered me, you said, oh well, I'm going to do it again. Okay?
And the disgusting part was the DA's response to the part about when you said no.
Wait. We're
This-
saving that for last.
This
'cause I'm
is
gonna
what
do
really
warnings.
irritates me, though, is because you should have had the chance to sit on that stand and say this to him in that fucking courtroom instead of in this video.
Is there a tie between the DA and the attorney? Like, does the
We don't
attorney
know.
have something over the DA, and that's why?
We don't know.
That would be crossing into allegations, which we don't even have.
Yeah, we're not crossing into that realm.
Mm-mm.
We can do conspiracy theories all day, but we don't know.
Yeah, everybody online has their theories about that. I think some of them could be right.
Are there patterns that people may see
That are a little strange.
that may sound like a lot of corruption stories you've heard? Possibly.
But we're not saying that those things are true. We're not even saying we necessarily believe those things, but it's what's out there. I was told that if we moved forward, I was going to be humiliated for hours on the stand while I was cross-examined by Russ's attorney, and him bringing out everything I've sent to Ross, and then bringing out all of our past consensual things.
Isn't it the job of the victim's advocate to, like, help prepare you for that? Like, I was reading about what their job is earlier, and it was talking about how, like, they're supposed to be with you while you're on the stand, so that you're not alone, and all this.
They're your
like,
lawyer in a sense.
like, they're supposed to prepare you for that. And also, if they would have given you more time and met with you and talked to you about all this beforehand, then you would have been able to prepare for that.
Yeah, I would have also been able to emotionally prepare for, hey, you're going to go through this phase where you feel like you're the one who did something wrong, and just, like, don't contact during that time. Okay, I'm trying to leave the, like, worst parts for last, because in case anybody doesn't want to hear that. So this person literally admitted that I was manipulated. Like, the DA said, yes, I agree, you were manipulated.
And they did it really well.
They did it really well. You did exactly what they wanted you to do.
But it wasn't witness tampering, because you weren't threatened.
Yeah.
Even though talks of lawsuits and threats to have photos spread and things like that, he said, well, did they threaten to break your legs? Then nobody made you do it.
Yeah, I was told nobody made you make the videos, so...
So talk about defamation. That's a threat of defamation, so I don't know.
I want to be very clear. The DA made it clear to us that he believes Russ is guilty of the crimes that are being pressed on him.
Yes.
Yep.
He
Very
believes
clear.
100% Russ is going to go hurt somebody else.
He said that over and over.
So that's why it's infuriating when Russ's attorney is, and I don't know if he's misquoting the DA intentionally or if the DA really said this, I don't know. But that's what's infuriating when they're saying these are baseless claims, calling me a liar, calling me all of this. He knows it happened. He agrees Russ is guilty. He agrees Russ is probably going to kill somebody. And
But he's holding a candlelight vigil for domestic violence.
which we'll get to that. That's going to be the last thing we touch on. Yeah, so we were told basically witness tampering didn't matter. The no contact order didn't matter. We were told that he's probably planning to kill somebody, or he will kill somebody, doesn't matter.
I want to point out that when you talked to them, like 2 weeks before, when they told you that you were about to be a witness and that you had to come there, she told them about the witness tampering then.
Actually, Boston, my good friend Boston, the one who called the police, she told the witness advocate back in the very beginning when the witness tampering started.
I didn't even know that.
She knew that weeks ago. Weeks ago.
So she could have stepped in and done something about this
Or at least...
way before.
Or at
Way
least
before.
saved you the time of driving states away to be told that you didn't have to do the thing you were told you legally had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we could have solved all this on a phone
On
call.
a fucking Zoom meeting.
This is incredibly unnecessary. Yep.
And mind you, it was Shay's supporters who funded her being able to go down there. The courts did not finance her being able to travel.
Facts. So this is the kind of triggering part, the extremely triggering part.
Seriously, do not listen to this part if you're going to get triggered about stuff.
Because this isn't very upsetting for anyone to hear, especially if you have experienced trauma and
or been
sexual
victim
trauma.
shamed in any way, like,
yeah. And I
guard
want to
your
say
heart.
we 1,000% disagree with this statement. Obviously.
I want to puke because I know what you're about to say and I feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah. So, I said, does it not matter that I said no? And his response is, but you stopped saying no. I went silent. Never consented. Ever. But because I went silent.
And
That's supposedly what the defense attorney would have
And
used
here's your
to argue
scientific,
against him.
psychological explanation, and I brought this up while we were in there. I was like, wouldn't a psychologist say that was a fawn response on the stand? Because you have your set group of reactions: fight, flight, and fawn. And most people who are a victim of this particular kind of crime, once they realize they cannot fight back, they fawn as a means of protecting themselves. Most people can't even control that. It's like playing possum. It's like, well, if I just quit,
It doesn't feel worth it.
Not only that, he kept choking me. And, I know that he's capable of choking me to the point of unconsciousness. So, why would I keep saying no?
And maybe angry enough to be ending your life at the moment. Like,
why would I keep saying no if it's not listened to and if it's not respected?
I have never heard something so disgusting in my life. Because you didn't say no the entire time, it doesn't count.
This is when I asked him, what's the legal definition of consent?
And he goes like this, puts his hands on the table, looks over at my wife,
Looks frustrated as fuck.
goes,
I was really interested to hear his response.
let me get my phone real quick. You're the DA, and you cannot define the legal definition of consent.
He never even brought it up, because I was like, no, it's fine.
No, because I was like, this is
And
getting
then-
awkward. This
Yeah.
isn't going to go anywhere. I'm feeling really humiliated right now. I'm about to cry. So I
Which
just,
was
I
his
like,
goal the entire time.
well, opinion.
It seemed like
Fair
it was
enough.
his goal.
Fair enough. It felt like that was the goal, was to just get her to back down.
Yeah, after, not
The
the first
second
half,
half
but
of
the
it.
second half.
Are we to the part where he told you what to do to make it better? Are we to that part yet? He looked at her and said, "You're young, you're pretty, move on." He told her that multiple times. He said,
Forget about this.
his words, Russ is butt ugly anyway. That is the DA's words out of his mouth. And I quote, that is not an allegation. And I quote, the DA said,
Disclaimer,
Russ,
I don't disagree with
he
you.
said, Russ is butt ugly anyway, and you're young and
sorry.
you're pretty. You can have any guy you want in Tennessee.
But that's so unprofessional.
And
for a
he
DA
said
to
3
say
or
that.
4
Like,
different times about how she's pretty and should just move on. 'Cause
Forget this happened.
you're pretty, you're young, just forget this happened and moved on. Now, if that doesn't feel shady, I don't blame people for having conspiracy behind that. That just
And like
feels
I was laughing
gross.
it off because I felt so uncomfortable because I was like, he did not just say that.
and at this point, I feel like he was dancing around the fact that he was about to dismiss this thing, because he's like,
He was trying to
'cause he was
console
like,
me by being like, you're young and pretty, get over it.
Yeah.
You're fine. Smile.
This definitely happened to you, and I'm not going to pursue it because I think I might lose. But
After
yeah,
he
move on.
said, now if I was just being prideful and didn't want to do it because I think I'd lose the case, dude, then what are
What
you
other
doing?
reason?
You're
She's
specifically saying you're not pursuing it because you think you'll lose the case.
Yeah.
Now, in the position that you're in as an official with the job title you have, your reputation, yes, it means something to a point, but should you not also say, screw my reputation, I'm going to do my job?
You said you knew he was guilty. You said he was going to hurt somebody else.
Yep.
You know what
said your words were you believed he intended on offing my little sister, and you let these things walk. You should have fought that tooth and nail. I know pro bono lawyers. I know public defenders that would have fought that harder than you were fighting.
What's worse, I can't say what he said. You guys will know what I'm talking about. But when we were talking about, I don't want Russ to watch this and get any ideas. So I'm not going to say exactly what was said to us.
All the loopholes?
There was something we were told about the way Russ wanted me to make a video that we can't repeat because we can't give him any ideas.
Basically, the way he thinks that would have worked wouldn't have worked. But he was onto something.
That's it.
That's all that can be said about that.
Can't say anything about it because if he finds out what this guy told me, then he could literally go kill somebody.
It's like they're handing him the cards to play sometimes.
Yeah. It's like they're advising him now how to not get in trouble, and he's taking their advice and getting away with things. Allegedly, opinion.
Allegedly, yeah.
So the district attorney was going to try to get
her big brother, that's what.
The district attorney was going to try to get a no-contact order for 6 months, and Russ's attorney refused, saying it was a waste of time and they don't want to be dealing with this for another 6 months.
And the DA didn't fight that.
At all.
There's no response to that. They just said, okay, alright, that's fine.
Yeah, no big deal.
It didn't matter how much you disagreed or protested about this, or how much you mentioned your safety or your reputation. All they were worried about was his aspect of it.
Boston says, my question to him would be, what did the arresting police officers say? How did he get those charges in the first place, especially if the state was just going to drop it because they were afraid?
Asked that actually, and his response was, well, the police officers, they're seeing it.
They're going based on the evidence they had.
It's more personal because they're seeing it, and they're going based off of the evidence that they had.
Evidence!
But now that
Basically,
we have it, the DA...
To sum it up, basically the way he worded everything, if you want to put it in really simple terms, is a cop's job is to judge you morally in the moment to make a decision. Is someone in danger here?
And he's looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah, of what could be happening, because a cop is an investigator.
And, I mean, everybody keeps saying I've flip-flopped about this situation, which has contributed to him getting off. And what I have to say about that is I've never once lied about the interaction.
You really haven't flip-flopped either.
The only thing that has changed, I've remained honest about what happened that night and what happened the night he hit me with the flashlight, all of that. I've remained honest. The only thing that has changed is my feelings about my feelings. That's it. In the beginning, I was in limerence. I had just gotten out of mental hospital. I was very overwhelmed. I still felt like I loved him. And I felt like there's no way he would purposely, after knowing my trauma, there's no way he would purposely hurt me. So I thought, well, if he didn't purposely hurt me, then I should get him out of these charges. And I did. And now somebody else is going to get hurt because of that. So,
it's not your fault. It's the DA's fault.
Because here's another thing is like, if we want to go based on the theory of Russ didn't mean to hurt me, then he's more dangerous than if he did mean to hurt me. Because if he thinks there's nothing wrong with proceeding when someone says no, after you just had a whole talk about consent, you just had a whole talk about trauma and sexual abuse, and then you're going to continue when I say no, then you're dangerous. If you think that's okay. If you would do that to someone else, I just can't.
I agree with Tim.
What Tim say? Where's Tim?
Right there.
This DA wasted how much taxpayers' money and let a known malcontent resigns in. Yeah. I'm trying not to, like, I don't want anyone to go hate on this man either. I don't know, maybe he thought, I can't imagine how he thought he was doing the right thing, or how he thought he was doing his job.
When the victim is sitting there telling you when the victim is sitting there not understanding why you are just letting this go, I'm pretty sure you should get the hint that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
And yeah, to an extent, like, Boston brought up that hours after it happened, I said, thank you for saving my life, so a part of me did know that what happened wasn't right. I remember, I could be remembering this wrong, let me know. I remember also saying to you, you just somehow knew what had happened. I had sent you the voice recording of him at the door, and then I went silent. And I came back, and I saw that you had called the police and stuff, and I just didn't really react. And you said, did he rape you? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I recall.
You don't need thank yous for being family.
Yes, massive thank you to both of you guys.
You're right, it is a nationwide problem, specifically in Bible Belt states.
Yeah. And that's another thing is, like, he specifically told me before he switched sides that, allegedly, allegedly switched sides. He told me that Tennessee is a state where you can revoke consent at any time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, remember,
what happened?
What's the definition of consent?
how can he enforce a law he doesn't know the definition of?
Yeah.
And you can't deny that he did not know the definition. That's not an allegation. That's straight up, you could not define consent. You couldn't even say it means I said yes or no. It means I agreed. You had no definition for it. Like,
People are loving y'all on the comments. Agreed. I'm also going through this weird phase. Like, I know I told everybody I didn't have family, right? It was your reaction to when you told me he's going to jail. I asked what happened. You said something I can't talk about, and you had used the term before when bad things had happened. Then I just flat out asked you. Yeah. And I think I said, I don't know. I was in such shock. Because I'm like, what just happened? Like, part of me was like, I'm not okay with what just happened. So I just completely switched it into my head to something that I could handle more. Was like, well, he didn't mean to.
Nobody wants to be in that victim mindset after being in it.
No.
before. Nobody
you know,
wants to do that.
side note here, speaking of victims, I think it's important to say during something like this, if you're going through any kind of domestic violence, or you have gone through domestic violence, and you feel you need to report it, but you haven't because you're like, well, this part's my fault, this part's my fault. Don't let the system scare you out of things, because the more people fight it, the more the system's going to change. These, what's the word I'm looking for? These elderly gentlemen who are in offices right now.
We trained him before the live.
Elderly authorities who are in office right now throughout our country, just, they claim to have the mindset we do so that we don't argue with them as much.
I can't wait until we take
But we
over.
need to argue with them more, because they don't act on the things they say they agree with. They still act like this is 1960s America where an old white guy can do whatever they want.
And also, somebody, I'm not going to bash anybody, somebody has been saying that Boston shouldn't have called 911.
Oh my
Brandon
God.
shouldn't have called 911.
No.
She wouldn't. Yeah.
Those are who need thanked.
Oh my
That's
God.
something else. Victims hardly ever call for themselves unless there's a child involved, and even then, things terrible.
To be fair,
Tend
she's
to
basing
happen.
this off of the DA had asked me if I would have called the cops if Boston hadn't, and I said no. Because no, I was protecting him. I wanted to help him.
And that's normal.
Yes.
Because victims don't call for themselves.
Tyler for president. But you see,
Don't give him any ideas.
I'm gonna read my DMs and make sure you haven't sent your dick to me first before we get there, okay? Creepy old dudes, yeah. Sorry, no offense to any old people out there. Obviously, I love old
They're
men.
raised in a different way, man. They're
I just
just
love old
not.
men, but
They're just not. Let's use a gross word. They're just not woke, guys. Never said that in my life.
But, you know, I also want to say, like, if somebody you know is in danger and you don't call the police, I'm pretty sure that's a crime.
And even if it's not, if you have any decent bone in your body, you know.
Tyler for DA.
Yeah,
Yes. No, yes.
Thought about law school. Might be boring to do the school part, though.
Yeah.
The law would be fun.
But, you know, I told everybody I didn't have family and stuff because I didn't want... Well, first of all, while I was with Russ, I was not allowed to have family.
Contamination.
Yeah, due to things that happened in our childhood that weren't in our control, Russ, with his OCD, believed that my family was contaminated, everybody from back home was contaminated, and that I shouldn't have anything to do with them. So I didn't. And
Side
so,
note. Speaking of contamination, I think it's very funny when she got her stuff back. He said that her disinfectant spray with her.
Oh!
Dead.
My own disinfectant spray that I bought.
So dead.
I wonder what he's going to do with the other thing he kept.
Russ,
Ah.
send this to Russ. In case you didn't see the last time, it's really important. I need you to know. What?
Said it takes triple A's.
No, you'd plug it in the wall. Anyway.
Oh, it's a powerful one.
Yeah, it is. Thank God. It's really important that Russ knows there's something in his closet that I
Right.
left. And you need to find it. It's very important. That's all I'm going to say about that. Also, she contacted the police on her own one of the times that she was scared. Yes, so what happened was one of the many times that I was planning to leave Russ, this time I had actually packed my things.
Oh, the fire's coming soon. Sorry. Go ahead.
He gave me the McKamey Manor shirts. Anyway. Now I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry.
What was I saying?
I don't remember. Somebody tell us. Last thing I remember is the closet. Did you take a shit in the closet?
No, but it's almost worse.
I'm so sorry. How did you lose your train of thought? What was she saying when I so rudely interrupted? Somebody tell us.
Somebody rewind, because nobody was paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
When you said, so we got in an argument about children. One of the many arguments. And I told him I couldn't handle anymore and that I needed to leave. And he started saying he was looking for his gun. He's like, because I had hidden his gun due to him making statements like, I thought about killing you and burying you in the yard. I had hid his gun. And he came to the door wanting his gun. And was basically threatening to kill himself. because of me leaving. And so I texted 911 and told them what was happening. Tell me why they show up and they think I was the one threatening suicide. I tell them no. I had to do this in front of him. I said, I called about him. And they're like, wait, what? And they were basically looking at him like, is this true? And he said, no, everything's fine. They left. They're like, yeah, okay. And left. Yeah.
They don't really like to investigate anything down there, do they?
No.
Sorry if when you guys were telling us, Boston, I saw you said you told us this thing that we're looking at comments on is way behind.
Yeah.
So
We're very delayed.
we have satellite internet. It's not very good.
Yeah. So in short, we've sent things into media, because I'm being attacked through media.
So we'll get bigger media.
We're trying.
Media.
I don't want this to be a smear campaign about the DA. I want the focus of this to be, what are we doing?
No harm in calling out the DA a little bit, telling him to do his job.
My thing is like, is this happening to other victims? Is it, like, gonna continue to happen? Or, like, because we don't feel very protected, and then you have Russ's attorney saying the DA said all this stuff and slandered me and all this. So, what's going on? This is not, like, bare minimum. Like, they asked me what I wanted out of this, and I said, like, if I could have it my way, like, his consequences would be force him to get help. And they talked about, like, if we won, discussing mandatory help. And
Actually, he said we could discuss it, but that Russ was too old and there's no helping a psychopath like him.
yeah, he literally called Russ a psychopath.
He said
He broke down he knew the definition of that. He broke down the definition of a psychopath.
He said he is not a narcissist, he is a psychopath.
Yeah.
Those weren't allegations coming from the DA's mouth. Those were matter-of-fact statements coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, and so I take responsibility for the part I played in all this. However, a lot of things should have happened differently. I never thought he should be pursued for attempted murder because I didn't feel like he was trying to kill me. The bare minimum is, I said no, he continued. By definition, that's rape. Bare minimum, domestic violence. Assault, something. To say, oh, he didn't want you in the van.
That's not good enough, buddy. I know a lot of people I'm legally allowed to smack around if it's just a matter they can't be where I don't want them.
So I go into the women's bathroom and lady's in the stall I want. Do I just punch her in the face?
Give me that stall! You warmed the seat up for me.
Is that going to be my defense? Because if that was everybody's defense, Russ would be fucked.
What I don't understand is the only thing that he would have to say in defense to that is it's illegal to assault someone. Like, it doesn't matter the reasoning.
Boston said the only reason Shay was so worried about him going to jail is because he told her over and over he would off himself and be unalived. He said you couldn't have that kind of guilt, and I don't blame you. He choked you until you passed out and had seizures multiple times. So, the thing about that is yes, that happened a lot. But a lot of the time it was consensual, because it was something he wanted to do, and I got used to it, and I was like, I remember having a conversation with, I had a checkup at a doctor, and she was asking me about my sex life and stuff, and she specifically asked me, I had like a bruise on my neck, and I actually had a lot of bruises, and then I have a cut on my side. The cut was not from him, it was from his dog, and I'm scarred from it. So she thought something was going on, and I told her, no, we do, like, choking sometimes, like, it doesn't really, you know, it's not like Russ beats the fuck out of me all the time. That's not how it was. And that's part of why I wanted to protect him, was because the majority of the time, things weren't like that. So it was hard for me to process what happened when there was so much good. He's very good at being charming. He's very good at being someone you can talk to about trauma and mental illness and the things you're going through. He's very good at that. And so that was part of the bond. Question, if a stranger came up to you and choked you unconscious, would you change your view of it? Well, yeah, because it's not consensual.
You better not
to
be
be
offering.
fair, you... Hang on. Gotta go back up. To be
It
fair...
was Boston who said that.
Oh.
To be
Not a
fair,
stranger.
you did say when you were trying to protect him that he said he was just worried about you being outside at night. They used that against you against... Well, yeah. Oh.
So that's a good
Absolutely.
reason. I'm worried about you getting hurt, so I'm going to mollywop you.
Yes, his abuse was mostly verbal and mental, not physical, according to what you've shared with me. Yes. It was a lot of mental abuse. I couldn't have friends. I couldn't wear what I wanted to wear.
You were
he
barely
would-
talking to me.
I have body dysmorphia really bad, and I would sometimes go days without eating, and as everybody knows, he's obsessed with bodybuilders, and which at one point I wound myself in the hospital before I moved there, from working out too much and not eating enough, for him. So, but he did try to force me to eat, but it got to a point where I was having body dysmorphia really bad, and we had just had an argument. He smacks my ass and says, you're flabby and gross, go work out. After I just starved myself.
I could bench press you with a hand, and I'm willing to bet 20 on that.
Yeah, so, you know, there's no world where I would ever tell someone, because of the consensual things you do sexually, that it's okay for those things to happen non-consensually. Oh yeah, he told me that choking me was to strengthen my neck muscles. Yep. He's told that to his exes too. Yep. He told me that I wouldn't pass out so easily if I would just strengthen my neck muscles.
Well, choking isn't going to strengthen your neck muscles.
As far as like...
Tim, you're so right.
I'm not gonna tell you its search history. Oof. But, you know, also, like I've tried to tell people, the majority of the time, I was cleaning the house and made costumes and 6-inch heels. We were watching movies in his chair all night. We were going to the movies 3 times a week. We were going to karaoke twice a week, pizza once a week. Like, that was the majority of our time. So, people don't understand, why did you stay? Well, because the majority of the time, it wasn't like that.
Nah, he was warming you up for your tour.
Yeah, he wanted to force me to do a tour.
I feel like I missed a ton of comments.
see what you're saying, Ollie. Yeah, and a lot of things have happened that I haven't even told a single soul. That I probably never will. And, you know, but there's one thing that happened. So it crossed my mind that, you know, I was told this and made to believe this, and I believed it, that he wasn't purposely doing it. It was an accident. He didn't mean to do it. But where I kind of drew the line on that, and what made me realize what was going on, was Russ knew about something that had happened to me years ago. In which I was passed out and something happened to me. And he knew I had PTSD about it because I couldn't spend a whole night sleeping with him. As any partner knows, the two I've lived with, I can't sleep all night in a bed with a guy because of what happened to me. I have to get up in the middle of the night and relocate. I can't go a whole night being in bed with anybody. Russ knew this because I told him about it, and every night I got up and went to myself. I take a sleeping medication. This shit knocks you the fuck out. And he woke me up, which this had never happened before. He woke me up and started touching me while I was like asleep, and I woke up to it, and immediately I was freaked out because I had told him what had happened to me before, and I was so groggy from the fucking sleep med, and I was just like, I don't want to. And he said, no, just touch me. And I said, I really don't want to. I'm really sleepy. And he took my hand and put it on him, on his and was like using my hand to touch himself. And I covered my face with the blanket and started crying. And he stopped and he asked me what was wrong, and I said, this is making me think of when I was assaulted. And we had he freaked out and was like, does that make me like the person that hurt me? Like, he seemed to genuinely understand what he had just done was wrong. And he was so apologetic, and we had a really good conversation about consent. About if I say no, it needs to stop. Like, if I say I don't know or anything like that, it needs to stop. Also, waking me up in the middle of the night while I'm on sleep med. No. So, I thought at that point, like, we had a really good conversation about it. I did feel violated by that experience, and I told him that, and he seemed so sorry, and, like, he felt real responsibility and really understood that that couldn't happen again. So that's what I have to go back to when I think about this, is I can say all day long, I don't think he meant to hurt me, but at the end of the day, we did have a conversation about consent. We had that talk about if I say no, it has to be no.
So he agreed that no meant no for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So as soon as you had to repeat that statement, he violated a verbal agreement between the two of you.
Which is basic consent.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know where to go from here because my main concern is if it was just me to think about, I wouldn't proceed with anything at all. But in fact, I don't think I would have spoken up against him if it was just me. But I have to think about other people and other people getting hurt. And if what happened to me, if I had a daughter,
Only if you can mentally handle it, though.
if I had a daughter or, thinking about my niece, like anybody else, like if that happened to them, I would be telling them, you got raped. He was probably trying to kill you. That was assault. Like, that's what I'm facing right now is I just fucked a case that a lot of victims were counting on for him to be convicted so that he wouldn't hurt anyone else. And now if he hurts someone else, I will feel responsible because I literally ruined this case by myself. Like, it had nothing to do with my friends. It had nothing... Like, of all of this, the only good thing to come of all this is, number one, awareness is being spread about how this DA works. Awareness is being spread about how victims are treated in these situations. Awareness is being spread about don't contact your abuser because you're going to get past that stage and you're not going to feel like you need to defend them anymore. You're going to realize the truth. It's extremely hard when you have thousands of people telling you it's your fault and thousands of people telling you that you're a liar and that you did this for attention. And
Tim said if he would have had the opportunity to say all of this in a courtroom, he would have been fucked. And that's the thing, and that's why it's not your fault, it's the DA's, because he didn't have the balls to let it go in a courtroom.
Not saying you shouldn't have taken your big brother's advice when I picked you up and I was like, don't message him right now.
no, everybody told me not to message him, but I wasn't in a state where I needed to hear from anybody but a legal professional. I needed somebody who, like...
Because it didn't matter, there was a whole bunch of people in her ear on the other side saying...
Yeah.
To message him, like...
You had Jennifer, you had somebody else, you had somebody else, you had somebody else. There were like 4 people minimum messaging me per day telling me what to do to get him out of charges and that I needed to get him out of charges. He loves me, he didn't mean to do that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know where to go from here. I don't feel like we should be silent about what happened because, once again, victims are seeing what just happened and that you're going to get smeared in media and stuff. Well, first of all, just remember, Russ is a public figure. I've been in the public. All my friends are in the public. So what I'm going through isn't going to necessarily be what you're going to have to go through. I think...
I don't know, I disagree.
I think a lot of it, yes, is going to be the same, but I think as far as being smeared by media and stuff, you're not going to so much have to worry about that. But
Unless you're going after Diddy. Oh.
But you're definitely going to have to deal with, probably going to have to deal with being told it was your fault and everything you did wrong. But never let somebody tell you that you didn't say no enough times or that going silent made it your fault. Which I'm having an issue of every time I hear someone saying, like, it's your fault that the charges got dismissed. Every time I hear that, my brain connects it to, well, you didn't keep saying no.
Unlink it.
It's very hard for me to unlink it. I link things in my brain and it's just...
I'm gonna cut it. Cutting the link.
That's my own OCD or whatever is wrong with me. But just keep in mind, like, you're going to see people give their opinions as if it's fact. You've heard from 3 people that were actually there.
The only
Only
three
three
people that were there.
Other than the witness
Other than-
advocate, who I would love to speak out. I don't think she would lie about the situation.
She seemed nice.
She seemed like she genuinely cared and was concerned about the situation. However, I wish she would have spoken up more. I wish she would have reached out earlier. You know?
Megan, she said, baby, you give me a list of anyone that blames you and not that sick and heinous man, and I'll hunt them down.
Not us saying that.
It's the opinions of the rest of the world.
I keep getting asked, like, am I okay with the results of what happened? And I'm not okay with how it was handled. He should have at least gotten a domestic violence charge. I'm not okay with being called a liar by his fucking attorney, by him, by his little, I just fucked a contestant face, by a bunch of strangers on the internet, by somebody implying that I'm a liar when they know nothing about the situation. They just know an outside point of view. When I had an actual interview with everybody that was a witness, and now we have another one. And I know people are going to pick apart this too. And they're going to make a podcast about it. And they're going to have all their opinions about it. The bottom line is, I know I fucked up. I don't know what my options are right now, but as far as media goes, I'm not okay with being smeared. Because, for one thing, how does that look to other victims? For another thing, why is this happening? Why is this... I never filed the charges to begin with. So why am I being called a liar? When all I've... Like, literally, ask Russ about the actual allegations. Did these things happen, yes or no? He can't lie. Because if he lies, he's admitting to himself he has done something wrong. The only thing he can do is justify his actions. That's it.
That's why he didn't bring anything that we're aware of anyway, because we weren't in the same room.
No.
They had... So it was us, me, Danielle, you, the advocate, and the DA were in a room. And then Russ, his attorney, and the judge were in another room, and the DA and the advocate kept leaving to go over to them.
Well, we don't know if the judge was in the room.
I saw him.
Yeah, I remember him at least.
I saw him
judge.
in a robe going back in his robe going back and forth.
Which is very
How
messed
come he
up.
never came in our room then?
Exactly.
Tall, older guy, goatee, glasses, bald. Yeah, I know exactly.
Okay. Good lord. His attorney saying there was no merit to the charges is the worst thing for the victim to hear. Literally, after admitting he knows Russ did the things, there was evidence, he knows Russ is going to hurt someone else.
But that could
we
be
doing?
Russ's lawyer twisting
Exactly, that's why I
words.
said this is what his attorney is claiming.
He allegedly said those things. Because notice, that is not in quotation.
Now, I do want to talk
know.
about...
Yeah.
We're not afraid to quote.
You commented on his post. Do you want to pull up your phone?
Yeah, hang on. If it's still there. Well, he can delete comments, but we were informed today that he can't block me, so this should be fun.
We have the
He's
screenshots.
You have a right to speak
He's a
about
political-
public officials.
Can you not appeal the decision? As far as I'm aware of, no, because I'm not the one that pressed charges, and because of this, unless I go a civil route, I can't press charges through the
And-
state.
Yeah, and she can't press charges because the way it was dismissed, it can technically still be brought up by the state if they want
Supreme
to.
Court.
I asked if we could take it higher to the Supreme Court, and I
Get some
the
whole ass
DA's
laws
assistant
changed.
or whatever, and I was told no.
Get some whole laws changed.
While you're doing that, I want to circle around to 2 things.
Yeah, because my phone was off, so it's going to take a second.
Number 1, I keep getting...
Animal or something?
The universe said, you're not going to say that. Rotate your phone. I don't want to rotate my phone. Is it gonna make me change the orientation now?
It's 2024. That's allowed.
Whoa. You're gonna get me canceled.
No, I'm not. I said it's allowed.
Did I just show feet? Oh my god.
Oh,
You're supposed to pay for that.
sideways! No!
She said. He said, I'm gonna get you canceled, and you said they gotta pay for feet.
Oh, no.
Send gifts.
Oh, don't do
Oh,
that. That's gonna get clipped. No.
Do you need my help?
I guess we're doing this now.
Care, clip it. Make fun of me.
That's going on only feet.
Do you need my help?
Yeah, I need this to
Can't
rotate.
go on OnlyFans without my ID.
Okay, rotating. No, no.
How is the live gonna work now that the orientation changed in the middle? I don't know.
Yes, I can't turn that. It's not turning.
Hmm. You're sideways, you're sideways. Is this better?
Did I just break it?
Technical difficulties?
I think I just broke it. If we can get this to stay
No, that's
up.
screws. Me too.
Yeah, but I think I broke the plastic.
Oh.
Danielle.
We'll just hold it. I'll just hold it.
Okay.
Ow, dog.
I don't
Okay.
know what I'm saying sorry for. It's mine.
Okay.
It was actually mine.
No, it isn't. It's mine.
I wish we could.
That was mine for
Okay.
photography, and I was just letting you use it for your stuff. Okay, what was I was looking up the comments.
Yes.
Because this mother trucker.
And she was trying to say something else. before
Don't
you
say
got to it.
mean words.
I called him a trucker. It's not mean.
It looks like a trucker though.
So I might as well close this because I can see the comments now. So I just wanted to circle around to two things. Well, the last thing I'll wait till after that. The reason I said I didn't have family was because at the time I wasn't allowed to talk to family and all that. So it was like I basically didn't have family. But as soon as my brother found out what was going on, he was here. Well, he was there. And him and Danielle both. And they came and rescued me. And for the first time in my life, I've experienced family. And it's been a very... I'm not used to it yet. But we're getting there. I'm not used to it, but...
We're friends now. We're having soft tacos later.
Woo! So, go ahead and, So, what is this comment on?
So, on September 12th, District Attorney of the 22nd Judicial District of Tennessee, Brent Cooper, shared a domestic violence candlelight vigil that he is... I don't know if he's holding it. I think it looks like he's posting that he is holding it. In October.
When did he post that?
I just said September 12th. So, like, the week that they called her to tell her that she had to come testify, they posted this.
Make up your own conspiracy about that.
Yeah. So, I commented and said, too bad you're not one who fights for change. You let people walk all because you don't want to embarrass the victim. This is a joke. And I also said, oh, and thoughts and prayers for victims, but don't want to do anything about it, obviously. Care more about whether or not you'll win than even trying.
Mm-hmm.
He replied and said, you obviously didn't listen to anything I said that day, but as you can tell, we know every single word that he said that day.
And something that was pointed out to me, is for him to say that is for him to sort of validate, in a way, that he's admitting there's a victim.
Yeah.
Because he's saying, no, I didn't say that there wasn't a victim.
Yeah.
I didn't say I wasn't standing up for the victim. I didn't. Yeah.
I'm just not
Read
standing
between
up
the
for the
lines.
Yeah.
Read between the lines.
I didn't say I'm not standing
There's
up
a
for
lot
the
more
victim. I'm
comments.
just not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I replied and I said I listened to everything you said that day, including how you were unprofessional telling the victim how pretty she is and how butt ugly Russ is, and the fact that you didn't know the legal definition of consent, and the fact that you've said nothing about the abuser releasing statements saying how you were on their side. The way that you handled this case is disgusting. You wouldn't even let it go to a courtroom. And now you have a victim sitting here blaming herself, even though she was never even given a chance to testify. And tons of more people have commented, and he has yet to respond.
And keep in mind, I was told, I just lost my train of thought. That's happened to me like 3 times today.
Yeah.
I just blanked out.
It's a lot.
I don't know. I was told
you were
so many
told
things.
something. It was something having to do with the DA, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And was it something having to do with his comments, or?
I don't remember. Must not have been important. It felt important, but yeah. Oh, hi, Thomas. What are you doing here? Anywho, so that's the story. That's what happened.
That is what happened.
This isn't...
There's no questions.
There's no... This is what they said. No. There's us. There's the witness advocate. And I'm pretty sure, allegedly, I'm not saying this is true, it looked a little bit like the DA might have been filming because his camera was in his phone pocket facing whoever was talking the whole time. Wait, the state said that to Russ? What do you mean? No, Danielle said that to the DA, and then the DA said that to her.
No.
Danielle, did he respond to my comment? Did Tyler just Michael Jackson?
Yeah, that was me.
She's my Boston, Thomas. Stay away. Oh, Brandon told me something. That's where I was going. I don't
I
remember.
thought we knew that already.
No, it was something else. Oh well. But anywho, this is gonna get spread. So, there's somebody on YouTube who's been trying to go after my friends and stuff and say it's all their fault and blah blah blah. So this is what I wanted to circle around to.
Potato.
This dog is... no, I'm not gonna share her with you. Go away. Jokes. The video that Danny and everybody did is probably the only thing that makes us not feel like a complete loss. Because at least people know the truth about Russ. They know, like, they have voice evidence of things. So the truth is out there. And I don't know. People forget that I'm a human being and that this is actually super difficult. And getting the constant input of saying I'm a liar or saying, you know, yeah, I'm aware the accusations I'm saying about the DA are intense because that's what was said. I wouldn't say it publicly if it wasn't true because I would be afraid of repercussions.
Yeah, it's not accusations. If you wanted accusations, we got some pretty serious accusations we could actually talk about.
Yeah.
Like, because our theories behind it that we will not say because they are alleged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not giving our opinions.
Facts on them.
Yeah. So. And also none of your friends were pushing you to do that video, unlike what people were saying. No. Danny reached out to me about it, and he was like, I completely understand if you don't want to, and all that. Like, he was super sweet about it, and I did it because I felt like, I don't know, I was really starting to understand the dynamics of the narcissistic relationships and the abuse and everything, and I felt like somebody else would get hurt if I didn't put the evidence out there, and my truth would get completely misconstrued, and he handled it very beautifully. I loved having my friends a part of it. I loved that my friends got to be the ones who talked about what happened with the DA with me on that other live stream. So, also, the people accusing them of being clout chasers.
Are clout chasers?
You're the ones posting about what happened without the information about what happened. So why is it clout chasing that the people that know the information and directly source, why is that clout chasing, but you using it for views?
It's almost like they're panhandling with partial stories.
Not my opinion.
Nah, that's her older brother's opinion.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I'm taking my...
I'm sorry. Is this the right one?
Nah, you've been planning that. I saw you over there with those buttons.
It's so hard. I don't know which one I'm supposed to be on.
So, you know, I'm taking my good friend's advice and, what? I'm taking my good friend's advice and trying not to give those people attention anymore, because that's what they want. They want a reaction and stuff. I also don't believe in body shaming people. You want to claim that people are being like Russ. Russ was the one who body shamed people. So I don't agree with body shaming. I don't agree with bullying anybody about anything. But I don't know. I don't notice. I don't want to be adding to drama, but I also don't want to watch my friends get eaten alive for no reason. So just remember, you're trying to take away my support system at the worst possible time and making everything about you, and it kind of sucks. And telling your audience, making it seem like I'm a liar about what I said about the DA. Do you not realize I said it publicly, knowing he would see it, and that's kind of why I said it?
We be posting on his page, dog.
I be posting. She's not doing anything. I be posting.
Yes, but I also made that live stream where I talked about everything he said. So it wasn't a secret. Like, you're not telling him information he didn't have. I just don't know why some people have to insert themselves into things that they know nothing about and then claim everybody else is doing that. If it weebles, it wobbles. I wasn't talking about him, but if the shoe fits, you don't have to defend us ever. Yeah, but I'm going to. I defend my friends when things are not true. And this is why so many victims stay silent, and it's super lonely to not get the justice you deserve. Yes, it is. And it's very frustrating for everybody who has to watch that happen. And yeah, I think there are people that are blaming themselves, and it's not their fault. Gross.
Including you.
No. It just is my fault.
How's it your fault if you did the thing that everybody does?
Because I should have been smarter than that.
I guess you're supposed to be smarter than all of humanity.
But anyway. Any final thoughts about what happened? Anything we missed?
I'm bad at these final thought moments.
Seek help if you're going through domestic violence, and if you know somebody going through domestic violence, get help for them because they won't call on their own.
Yeah. And don't just assume that the things that have happened to me are going to happen to you. They might not. But don't let that deter you from doing what's right. And also, if it's legal in your state, record. If shit's happening to you and you don't feel safe, record. Because if I would have been recording that night, we would have had all the evidence we needed. That was the one time I wasn't recording. So Tim says, I like how Tyler thinks. Thank you for all the kind comments. Embracing myself because I know all the backlash I'm gonna get. I'm trying to take my good friend's advice and not care, because the backlash is mostly from people who are not really significant in the bigger picture of this. You could be if you used your platform. What is happening? You could be if you used your platform for good and supporting victims and helping people and educating people, but you're not using it for that. So anyway,
You want that tiny violin?
I have a tiny violin. I'm gonna start playing for people every time they leave a nasty comment.
Sorry.
Yeah, would it have changed the outcome? We don't know. We'll never know. What do I want for Russ moving forward?
May all his Oreos be missing their filling.
Oh, he does like those golden ones.
If he eats ramen, may all of his packs be missing their seasoning. May his spatulas melt on the stove.
What I wish for Russ...
These things happen to me.
What I wish for Russ is that he doesn't hurt anybody else, and that if in his brain he truly thinks he did nothing wrong, that he can really go through the events and answer those questions that I keep echoing. Did I say no? Did we have a conversation about consent previously? Did you hit me with a flashlight and drag me out of the car? I really want him to reflect and consider the things he's done, and I don't know if he's capable of taking responsibility. I think it would literally break his brain to believe he's done anything wrong. Because then he just spirals into everything else that could make him a bad person that he's done. And he can't handle the thought about being a bad person. So, unfortunately, I don't think he can get help. I really hope he does. And I hope he doesn't hurt anyone else. I don't wish death upon him, and I didn't even want him in jail to begin with. But I don't want anyone else to get hurt, and he committed crimes that he should be in jail for. So, I don't know. I don't know, but the information is out there now. And, you know, if the DA wants to lie about what happened, we have proofs of what happened. So hopefully he won't lie. I don't know if he'll comment at all, other than to say she made videos for him. You know? She sent inappropriate stuff to him. You know? So, moving forward, the only time I want to have to talk about this again is if I'm on like a podcast or something. I might consider that if it's in a tasteful way. I really want to make a video where people understand the trauma bonding side of things and how Russ keeps getting these type of women, how, you know, that's what I want to talk about. But moving forward, I just want to find a way to be happy and maybe find somebody in the future who won't treat me like shit. Shut up. Everybody thinks they know. Everybody thinks they know who I'm crushing on, and nobody does. Nobody. Anyway, shut up.
You asshole.
Wait, what?
He started singing the song Many Men.
I wasn't saying... No, that's not what I meant. Not what I meant.
Oh my god.
That is not what I meant.
Oh. I don't want to talk to his exes because
What
I already
girl
know.
wants to talk to their exes' exes?
Well, that, and like I already know because I went through that shit too, and I don't want to keep reliving it for the rest of my life. I just want to move on, and it's really hard to move on when you're talking about your ex all the time. No, you can't guess. Stop guessing in the comments.
Guess.
No.
Oh my
God,
god.
leave some sort of privacy for the poor woman.
I just wonder if it would be healing for any of you. No, not for me. I think it would just make it worse, because I'm like, damn. He's really fucked up a lot of people, you know? I don't know. But anywho. Which some of them have contacted me on the anonymous app. So. It's me, guys. I'm the crush, Boston says. How did you know?
Well, that surprised me.
What?
Much love.
What?
What?
Oh my god. Everybody in the
Did I just hear
comments.
something?
Yeah, I think you did.
I've heard.
I have a massive headache. Stop looking at my audio. Just kidding. Anywho,
Stop fucking up the audio.
so
I'm starting.
my social media, I'm gonna start focusing on other things. I want to move on with my life. Like, there's gonna be things here and there, I'm sure, but like, I'm really considering letting out some of the other audios, like Russ talking about things his attorney has said to him. Because it's not allegations I've made. It's allegations Russ has made.
Those tapes.
But I'm probably not going to do that. I don't really want Russ to lose his attorney. That's not my goal. It's fucked up the way his attorney is attacking me when Russ has literally told me disgusting things about his attorney. So, and he sent him my private images and videos that I was coaxed to send. Kind of gross, you know? But anywho, I got my clothes back, so that's nice. I think that's about it. I'd leak it all if it was me. I have stuff I could leak that would destroy his life, and I'm really not after to do that, so like some of the kid stuff, not stuff I've recorded of him, recordings he has sent to me, voice messages. Yep. So, anywho, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for tuning in and hearing everybody out. Are you gonna dress up for Halloween? Yeah. Always. Right now I'm working on getting a plane ticket to California to go visit a few people. Go on like a week vacation, you know?
Gonna practice some black magic later so we can summon things on Halloween.
Oh no. Russ shouldn't have given me his shirt that I bought for him.
You know what's bad? My friends call me devil.
He didn't wash it.
My friends call me devil for a reason.
Oof.
Like, I don't know how effective they'll be, but I know some rituals we could do with that shirt. It's got its DNA in it.
Do 17th door? I would love to. I'm thinking about actually doing Crucible. Oh, it's in California. I wonder if a certain somebody would go do it with me.
Gets to the first challenge. Mr. Peabody. Mr. Peabody. Mr. Peabody. Looks at the taser. Mr. Peabody. Mr. Peabody. Mr. Peabody.
Tim is not my crush. Everybody. Yeah, I guess I could do it with Danny. Whatever. He might like that. I don't know. He did Crucible though, and he didn't really care for it. So Well, it's not that he didn't care for it. He was just, it's not his thing.
If I remember correctly, it was quite liberating.
Yeah, it's just not his thing. Danny and Chris and Ben and Brandon and Lydia and Jackson all did 17th Door together last year. Oh, that's cool.
I want to do an overnight ghost tour at Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Wait, how does Tyler know about Mr. Peabody? Well, you see.
I've seen all the videos.
We might have watched all of Danny's videos together.
I knew who you were before my sister showed.
No, he liked 17th Door? Okay. Cool. Yeah, we sat down and watched the whole Manor series that Danny did. Ben loved Crucible. Yeah, it looks good. I don't know how good I'll be with cold plunging.
Same. That's the only part I don't know if I could do.
Pain I can handle, but
If I start shivering, I can't stop. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
tase me, whip me, beat me, I don't care.
Sounds like fun.
Kinky. Tyler needs to talk to Chris, lol. Why? Chris is mine. Why do you want to talk to Tyler?
Why do I need to? I'm not. Nah, I ain't getting in on y'all's weird ass marriage.
Everybody, that's a joke. They're gonna run with that.
No, I'm talking about him and what's his face.
Oh.
I hear everything. I hear everything.
No, you don't.
I thought he would.
No. Oh my god, it's gonna get clipped. It's gonna go from her and Brandon to her and
No, I didn't say anything about you.
All of them.
No. What?
Okay.
The joke.
Okay. Whew, I'm sweating. Hang on.
The joke where
I'm dying.
they hooked up. Remember they hooked up. the video on fucking.
This is gonna be taken out of context.
Well,
The video of them hooking up.
No.
After everybody just.
Clarify it for me. No, that's not what I'm talking
This
about.
is why Tyler didn't want to go live.
Oh my god, that's getting clipped. That's gonna be all over
You're
Justin's.
taking it out of
No, the whole comment section's taken.
I was just
The
talking
video
about,
of him and Chris and the marriage and hooking
I
up.
was just talking about him. Two guys.
Yes, Chris and Danny hooked up.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. The fucking video.
Plus, okay. Also, that's a joke too.
Nah.
Not that I would judge, but that would be a little rude. Just saying. Me and Brandon never hooked up, for the record. It was Vegas. That doesn't count.
What happens in Vegas stays in
Chris, I want you to know they have no idea the things we talk about in DMs, so this is completely not in context to the things that Brandon has been saying in the group chat. Just so you know.
What?
Oh my god. What am I missing?
God damn, apparently I missed a video of Chris and Brandon.
No, it's not like that.
Uh-huh.
They're just friends, and sometimes he just...
They hook up in Vegas.
No, he just rolls over, kisses him goodnight. It's no big deal. I hooked up with Chris and Brandon at Transworld and flipped off your ex. Yeah, I was a little upset I wasn't invited.
See? Y'all are the ones, everybody's talking about them hooking up.
We did hook up. It was beautiful. I love our friendship. In case somebody clips that and sends it to my crush, that's a joke! We did not. Have you seen the video of Brandon in a thong yet? No, I saw his OnlyFans though.
Seen another video of somebody in a phone. Somebody
Shut up! It wasn't a thong, it was a Speedo!
Close enough.
Oh my god. Okay, but me, you, Danielle, Tyler, Chris, Brandon, and Carrie all are gonna hook up in Salem. You mean at Salem?
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Dude, the Satanic Temple is there and I have to go.
we gotta go. I would say we need to invite someone. If we're gonna be hooking up, we need to invite someone else. And I think I should pick who that person is. And it has no particular bearing on anything. It's just we're friends and he should be there.
I'm just saying I'm a member of TST and I can walk right into the Satanic Temple.
Chris said as long as he pats my ass before he leaves, I don't mind.
Me? I ain't patting your ass.
Brandon! I'm dying.
Why does every Brandon? Never mind.
Hey! Don't talk about my boy! Oh my god. What? Anyway, this has gotten... I'm perspirating. Somebody's gonna send this all to Russ and be like, she was hooking up with all of them at Transworld! I was with you, idiot. Don't dare. She said Tyler would love Salem.
I just like anything to do with creepy. There's also the Mothman shit here in West Virginia, and Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and the Grafton Monster, and Sheep Squatch, and the White Things. That sounds very weird, but that's actually a...
Well, that's just everywhere around here.
It's a mythological creature! They're weasels of some kind, okay?
The white things can be satisfying sometimes. And then sometimes not. Sometimes they're more like, you know, you used your fingers for a reason. But...
Wah, wah, wah. Sounds like you came up short.
He's very tall, actually, which is very misleading.
You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Oh.
Oh.
My head hurts. Tampon size? Well, that might be a little thicker.
Let's talk about a super, regular, what are we talking?
Oh my god.
Well,
Oh my
at
god.
least I've got one thing going for me.
He's taken. Shut up. He's taken by my sister-in-law. Don't compliment his laugh.
My freaking nasty ass Joker laugh.
I didn't start anything. I'm pure.
I'm going outside.
Anyway. I have a really bad headache and I think it's time to go before I end up saying something more off the rails. This is all getting clipped, so it's whatever. I'm just kidding, Ashley. So anyway, now y'all know what happened again, but with more witnesses. And I'm just gonna say, please don't harass anybody. Don't send anyone hate. I'm not even trying to go on a smear campaign about this guy. I feel like things weren't handled right, and I'm worried for other people that it's gonna be handled similarly. But yeah. I will see you guys soon, hopefully on a lighter note. And bye-bye.